Entrevistas Alfa.
Hola, yo soy Andrea Tassier de Alfa 91.3 y hoy estoy con una artista súper interesante, compositora, productora, que sale de Noruega. Es Moyka. Hi, Moyka.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Welcome to Mexico and thanks for being here with me.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much for this conversation. So, let's begin with your origins.
Yes, let's go.
You grew up surrounded by forests and Nordic mythology. Mm-hmm. Would you say that that's still in your music today?
Yes, absolutely. I think I get really inspired by nature and the mystical vibe of nature and like folklore and the mystical unexplainable in us humans. There's just so much mystery to everything, and yeah, I get really, really drawn to it, and it definitely inspires me to go strange places in my music and in my lyrics, and trying to figure out what is what.
Would you say that maybe your music is a new way of telling those old stories?
Yeah, I think so in a way, or at least it's kind of I'm how do I say, like a vessel for it, kind of. I can't say that I write a lot about folklore in my music, but I definitely, as I said, I'm super inspired by the mystery, and I think a lot of that is drawn into the sonic world of my music, how I like my synths to be very reverby or super strange sometimes, and mysterious. Yeah.
Is there a specific myth that maybe you were told when you were young that stayed with you and that you think about when you're writing music? Maybe for the atmosphere?
Well, I think about there's so many cool stories to think about, but there is this troll-ish woman by the water that falls down, waterfall. Oh, yeah. Waterfall, that's called. I'm sorry for my English. There's this magical, almost a siren, like a troll woman by a waterfall that kind of lures you in, and then can't remember if she eats you or if she drowns you or something, but there's something magical about being a siren, being or making sounds that kind of draw people in. And not that I'm going to kill anyone or drown anyone, but it's the mystical in it, I think. And if I have to think about one mythical thing in the studio, I think maybe that one is what I take, kind of channel.
I love it, because I really do think that your music carries a lot of atmosphere from maybe your background. So I'm really curious, when you're writing and creating these atmospheres, does it come from your background, from your imagination, from your memories? Where does it come from?
I think it comes from everything. I think it comes from where I kind of grew up in the forest. I think it comes from my inner child and my traumas. I think it comes from all my experiences and everything that I've lived through, and what I'm drawn to. And that, of course, is I grew up in the forest. I will kind of get drawn into that mythical space, but I'm also super inspired by city life and the industrial world, and I always try to combine my forest elf witch being with that kind of club city persona, because I think it's in that meeting point where it gets kind of interesting. Yeah,
I love it. I also think it's really, really interesting when you say that everything comes from your traumas, your experiences, whatever you lived. So whenever you come to a new place like Mexico City and you bring your music here and you play it to people that have a completely different background and a completely different life, because Norway is really different from Mexico City. And also the people here grew up completely different from the people in Norway. So what do you feel whenever you realize that people here also resonate with your music and the things that you lived in a very distant place from here?
I think that's wild. It's wild to me to think about that I'm so far away from Norway, my home, and that I can like travel here and feel so welcomed, and like people are really embracing my music and taking me in with their open hearts and open arms, and I can't really describe the feeling. It's such an honorable emotion, I think. And I don't know, I think people, I don't know what makes it resonate, but I think I write music for, like, it comes really like from within, and like I'm trying to solve something every time I'm writing a song, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I think people who listen to my music are like maybe also like thinking a lot and feeling a lot. Maybe they're intense like I am and like feeling a lot of emotions, and that's what I think music is all about. And I'm so mind blown that I can come all the way here and still be taken in such a warm way. Yeah.
Whenever your songs reach a country that you've never been to before, do you see this as maybe a way of expanding your story, or maybe creating a new one?
Definitely. I think I get inspired from everything that I live through. Yeah. And being here for 10 days, I'm really taking my time to take it all in and digest it and I'm definitely taking it with me into the studio and into my life, and hopefully it will blossom into something and become music and become a new story, as you said. Yeah,
definitely. We're really anxious to see what you're gonna do now. So whenever you listen to your old songs nowadays, do you feel like it was still you, the one who wrote it, or do you feel like maybe it was a completely different person?
That's such an interesting question, because some days I'm like, I feel totally disconnected from it. Like, that was a different person, that was a different world. I cannot understand who is this kid, And some days I'm like really emotional listening to it, and I'm like, wow, this girl, she was onto something, or like, wow, I can't believe that I actually wrote this, or like that I actually got to express this emotion in this way, And it's just super emotional either way. And but I honestly have a hard time listening to my old stuff. Okay. Because I'm like, oh, I could have done that vocal thing better. Oh, I could have produced that a bit differently. Oh, I could like tweak that EQ on that snare, I'm like getting really nerdy about it. But I'm trying to handle myself with I'm trying to be graceful, if that's a word you use.
Grateful,
yeah. And I'm trying to be kind. That's what I was trying to say. Trying to be kind to my past self, because she is me, I am her, and like taking her further on my story and this music adventure that I'm on. So that was a really long answer. I'm sorry, but
no, it's great.
But yeah, it's different every day.
I think it's really interesting that you mentioned that it gives you anxiety to listen to your music, to your past music, because you are involved in every part of the process. You are involved in well, in making the sound. You're involved in the production, in the direction, in the aesthetics, in everything. So it is a lot to deal with.
Yes. And there's a lot to be like hung up on. So yeah, trying to not get too obsessed in all the details also. Yeah.
Which part of the process do you feel you are the most exposed to?
That I'm the most exposed to, or
where you're more exposed, I mean.
I'm I love everything about being an artist. Like, I love being in the studio creating. I think being in the studio and creating something new that I really love, that's when I feel like the most alive, if that makes sense. Even though I'm just like either walking around in the studio or sitting on a chair, I'm like, yes, it's kind of a drug, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's so wild. And when I'm taking it further, I love creating worlds. That's what I feel like I was set out to do. And when I like kind of do that and in the creative direction and in like together with photographers, together with graphic designers, together with everyone that I work with, it's such a rush, you know, getting to a place where I can see, this is the whole world. This is the world. Welcome, you know.
And is there a part of this whole process that you like to keep only to yourself?
I think all my notes in the studio that never kind of made it into the song.
Yeah.
There's so much shit in there, honestly. There's so much like bad stuff, like really horrible written, really like sucky, just, you know, just like garbage. And so that's what I like to keep to myself. But I think it's really important as an artist to just let it all out.
Yeah.
When I'm in the studio, I'm like letting it all out. I'm writing everything, and even though it's like really horrible or like it sucks or whatever, I don't think about that when I'm like in that creative flow. I think it's really important to just let it out there, and then I see the direction when I have it all on the paper, you know. Yeah.
How much would you say the person you are in the studio changes from the person you are on stage?
Oh, this question I think is really interesting, because I feel like I'm in a really vulnerable state when I'm in the studio. I feel very like a bit shy maybe, or like I'm not as, you know, confident, or I am confident that I will get somewhere, of course, in the creative process. But I'm like really, I'm trying to figure out something. I'm like being vulnerable and trying to solve a puzzle. And on stage, it's kind of like I'm trying to deliver something with confidence. I'm trying to like say, this is my music and this is my world and welcome in. And it takes so much, like, it's kind of like an elevated, more confident version of myself, I would say. Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
And it's definitely the magic of being a performance artist.
Yeah, definitely. I think, but it has taken me some time to kind of develop my performance. It's a skill that you have to work on really, like, yeah, consequently. Yeah. So it has taken some time, and just realizing that it's different parts of me, or like that I can be two different sides of me in the different aspects of the creative process. That's a really nice way to think about it. Yeah,
Definitely. So whenever you're on stage performing a song that came from a very personal place in your life, do you feel exposed, or do you feel some kind of protection from the audience?
I think it depends on what kind of stage I'm on.
Okay.
It depends what kind of audience there is. I don't bring my most like vulnerable stuff to a festival stage, for example, because I feel like that wouldn't be like the either like the right vibe, or because I feel more exposed because there's people there who are not like understanding my world yet. But when I'm like having my own concert, going on my own tour, and the room fills with people who are there to hear my music, then it's like I feel really connected to the people there. I feel really like, well, yeah, they're like taking me in with like their hearts open, and I feel like they want to come on a journey with me that night, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can start crying, and I can start like I can let it rip, you know. It's very like emotional, but that's the magic of it, I think.
When you listen to your music alone, do you think about it, I mean, without an idea of an audience, just for yourself?
Yeah.
Do you hear it differently?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm more analytical, and I think I'm trying to see it as like this technical thing rather than maybe emotional. It depends where I am in the process, but yeah, I think I'm more like analytical when I think about it, when I listen to it alone, I think. But showing it to other people and seeing their reaction, that's the best, I think. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And now, the last question.
Let's go.
Would you recommend the people that are watching us right now, other artists from Norway?
Yes. How many?
As many as you like.
Okay, I would really like to recommend Iris Coltwhite, who just recently, I think like 2 weeks ago, dropped her new album. It's amazing, and you're gonna love it. And yeah, it's impossible not to love it. So I would really recommend her with all my heart.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this conversation, Moyka.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
We learned a lot about your process and about your music.
That's wonderful.
Y para todos los que nos están viendo, no dejen de escuchar la música de Moyka y entrar a este universo. Yo soy Andrea y esto es Alfa 91.3.
Entrevistas Alfa.